Hello there. Welcome to Rice and Spice. My name is Darren. I'm here to talk to you about Star Wars. We're going to be talking about all of the Star Wars episodes, episode 1 through episode 9. I'm joined on the call today with Levi. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so I've decided that I'm not going to say right anymore because that's my filler word. I've noticed that when I'm talking, my filler word is right.
You notice,
and so
that when you record yourself, like you start noticing, like, oh, I say that like a lot. I should use a different word.
And so, if I ever say right, I want you to yell,
Darren.
I want you to yell right or something. Anyway, I had a homework assignment for you, Levi. Did you finish your homework assignment?
I did finish my homework, but
Excellent. Everyone knows that lists are an easy way to generate content.
Yes.
That's why Watch Mojo is so successful.
Yes.
And I wanted to get in on that action. But in my own indubitable way, I would like to try a slightly different twist on this.
Okay.
So I want us to guess each other's list.
Ooh. Oh.
Right? Based on what we know about each other. And so I think we should start from the bottom and then work our way up. And so the whole point of this is Levi and I ranked our favorite Star Wars films from best to worst, or from worst to best.
The main canon ones. The main
episodes. Episode 1 through episode 9. And so now I want us to guess the bottom of the list.
Bottom of the
So
barrel.
you guess my worst, I'll guess your worst. All right, so let me think about it real quickly for a second. Let me know when you're ready. I think I know which one it is for you.
I think you know what mine is. I don't know if I mean, we might have the same one. I think.
Okay.
Well, just in case I might be wrong, that would give away my choice.
You've already given it away. So
Attack of the Clones is bottom of the barrel for me.
Ding 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 ding. Yes, it's the same for me.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Tell me, why don't you like Attack of the Clones?
Man, there's like a lot of things, but I'd say the biggest thing is this: I could forgive a bunch of the smaller sins if it just wasn't so boring in some spots. It's mostly the Anakin Padme romance stuff, which sucks. Which sucks because there's a lot of good stuff about them. It was the Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. The mystery's pretty solid. Him like finding out like there's a dead Jedi that ordered a bunch of clones, all that stuff. Him tracking Jango Fett. Has probably my favorite Star Wars score ever. Across the Stars, it's a beautiful song. It just sucks. It's the background music to one of the lamest romances I've ever seen on screen. But yeah, it's just a lack. It just lacks a huge entertainment factor. And this is Star Wars, the epic space opera, and you can't make this compelling in any way. I'm just like, yeah. How about yourself, my man?
I agree. Everything that you said resonates pretty much with me. For my big complaint, I do feel that Hayden Christensen, his portrayal of Anakin, it just feels a little flat. I don't buy that he loves Padme. I just don't buy it. When I'm watching that, I feel as if I'm watching two strangers read each other just the worst lines. The first thing they can think of when it comes to corny romance lines. That's what I feel. And I feel like the first half of the movie, the most exciting scene is probably where Obi-Wan reforms a death stick dealer. That's probably the best thing that happens in the first half of the
guy.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't think we have to dwell on this one too much. Is there anything redeeming that you like about it?
Yeah, like I said, Obi-Wan's sort of detective thing. I would wish that a little bit more of it would have been based around that. I like the potential that's there with Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman. There is a good idea there, like the forbidden romance thing, but as I said, they just don't do anything to kind of make realistic tension between them. The dialogue's cringy. I will say this, in Hayden Christensen's defense, when it gets to the part where he has to go save his mom, that does work for me. And most of that isn't like spoken word. Most of that is more him just looking sinister, him like feeling evil. And in Hayden Christensen's defense, when he doesn't have to speak at all, when he's just acting with his eyes or his body language, he actually acts very well. Like when he wakes up in a cold sweat, all that stuff, I buy it. It's pretty good. It's solid. It's just every time he speaks, he's not the best actor, but a great director can always bring a good performance out of any halfway decent actor. He's got bad dialogue he has to deal with, and he has to say it exactly like George wants him to, and that sucks. But I would say Hayden is, for other parts of it, is good. Obi-Wan's fantastic. Cool chase scenes, whatever, man. But yeah, that's what I. Oh, and of course the score. The score is beautiful. I listen to it a lot in my spare time. It's so good.
No, it's all right. I think we've talked about this one. This one doesn't need to be talked about that much. So let's just move on now. So next on the list, the next worst. I'm gonna go first since you went first last time.
Okay.
So my guess is that your second least favorite is going to be Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
You are wrong. You were wrong,
okay.
sir. Okay, I'm gonna say yours. I'll assume it's one of the prequels. I'm gonna say it's the Phantom Menace. Despite the lightsaber scene at the end, I'm gonna say it's the Phantom Menace.
Incorrect.
It is not?
Incorrect.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
All right.
What? Well, mine is the Phantom Menace.
Oh, so you actually put Phantom Menace. I was picking between those two for you.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, is it Phantom Menace for him or is it Revenge? Okay. My second least favorite is going to be The Rise of Skywalker.
I thought it could be that. I really thought it could be that. I was like, does he really put it that low? I knew, in terms of creativity, I know you did, but I'm like, but does it have enough Star Wars in there to kind of like not have it that far down? But that tracks for you. I can get that.
Yeah.
I can get that.
So we have a different list here. So make a case for why your choice should be the second worst. Make a case for why Phantom Menace should be the second worst for you.
It's weird. I could argue why this could be higher, because I did think about this a lot. But I think Phantom Menace, I would say that the ending is very cluttered. Like the lightsaber scene's cool, but the other things going on around it don't like take you out of that fight temporarily. And they're not pleasant to look at, and they're not that exciting. I'm not very excited about this militia that doesn't use weapons, but for some reason stores weapons in their chairs.
Don't question that. I feel like that's the most reasonable thing to do when you're part of a war.
I'm not saying it's not a reasonable thing to do. I'm just saying it is a little odd. We don't use guns here. God, they're here. Pull the guns out of the chairs, you know? I'm just saying.
It was a ploy. It was a ploy to put them at ease.
It was a clever ploy. And then everything else with it, Anakin he's not bad. He like, I look at Anakin, he looks like a kid. He does well in the pod race, but he's just not that entertaining to watch. He doesn't really have that much charisma. And I think the tone of Anakin kind of takes away a little bit from the somber parts of the movie. Like I don't feel like I can get fully invested in anything bad or sad that happens to him when he's separated from his mom, because he just doesn't bring it. I would say outside of that, yeah, the movie's just, every time I watch it, I guess I feel more of the disappointment in this one. Like I see the potential that's there, and I always want it to be better than what it is, and I think that's why it gets dragged down for me.
Okay. So that's your case. Now let me make my case for why I feel, what is it called? Rise of Skywalker should be the second
Well,
part.
one, you never remember the name. That's one thing.
Well, the name is not. I'm not gonna hold that against it, right? Dang it! I said right again. Ah, gosh.
That's right,
I
you
hate
did.
that.
It's all right.
So the reason why Rise of Skywalker is so low on this list for me is because it lacks an engaging theme. You look at Rey and her story throughout the film. What does she have to do? She has to stop the Emperor. Why does she have to stop the Emperor? Well, he's the bad guy. And then how does she go from where she is currently to the point where she's able to beat him? And the steps are, you gotta find the Pathfinder. To find the Pathfinder, you gotta find the knife. To find the knife, you gotta get it translated. To get it translated, you gotta go to this planet with Babu Freak. And Babu, none of these decisions, none of these steps are her making a choice. She's just following the trail. And she herself has very few decisions to make. I think some of the decisions that she makes throughout the film were to save Kylo Ren the first time after she stabs him. Also, her decision to pull the freighter with Chewbacca. She could have let it go, but she chose to keep pulling, and then that blew up the freighter. And unbeknownst to her, it didn't end up being impactful, but it could have been impactful. So those were decisions that she made, right? I said right again. Those were decisions that she made. However, there weren't enough of those kinds of decisions throughout the film for each of the characters. And so what does that mean? I feel the theme of the movie doesn't get fleshed out very well. Because theme is all about decisions, all about what are you trying to what are you really trying to tell? What is important here? And the only way you can say what is important is by having people choose. You can choose one thing or the other. To decide what is important, you have to give up something else. There's always a trade-off when it comes to an important decision.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are no
cost,
trade-offs. Yeah. Right, exactly. Opportunity costs. And I feel there are no opportunity costs where Rey or Poe or Finn have to really sacrifice something else in order to gain what they want. And I feel this really makes the film suffer. If one character does have to give up something, it's probably Kylo Ren. He has to give up his dark side. He has to give up the entire identity that he has built up for himself over the last 2-3 films in order to embrace who he truly is, Ben Solo, and to come and reconcile with his past. And I feel like if there is a theme in the movie, it's built around Kylo Ren and his decision. But it's not fleshed out very well, and it's not the center point of the film. And because there is no major theme for Rey and her whole story, I think that's why the ending with the Emperor, I feel like that is why it's such a hollow victory for me when I watch that film. So that's why I feel like it's at the bottom. It's close to the bottom. It's not that boring. It's not a boring movie, you know? Things are happening quickly. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of things that are exploding and people are going to new planets. So that's all fine. But I feel like there is no major decision. There's no major theme to this film. That's my case.
I would say after listening to that and thinking it through, because when I watched the Rise of Skywalker, like, I have a lot of fun with it. Obviously, there's a lot of fun to be had there. But one thing that I remember thinking, like, through, like, the Phantom Menace, all the prequels, all the other movies, and even though I don't, like, the prequels aren't as well put together, I have to say they still are thought provoking, and how they meet, and how they, like, connect to the other movies, and how they make you feel, and you see the themes and everything. So I have to say that's a fair argument. That's a fair argument, and I think maybe between the two cases, I think you've built a strong case there.
I mean, you don't have to change your mind. I'm just giving my case for why I feel Episode 9 is on the bottom.
I would say
next to the bottom.
I would say that's fair.
Okay. And we, of course, obviously, I haven't talked about episode 1 yet because episode 1 is on a different spot on my list. So once we get there, we can talk about it again.
All right.
So let's go ahead. You guess my third. What is the next film I hate the most?
I'm gonna say it's the Phantom Menace. I think it has to be. Looking at all these, I think. Well, I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna say Phantom Menace.
Okay. Now let me guess yours. I think it's probably Revenge of the Sith.
Yes. By the slightest of notches, it is Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, got it. And then mine is. Let me tell you mine. Mine is Episode 7, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. That was going to be my other choice. When I re-looked at it, I was like, well, because that one's kind of. I'm sure this is part of it. Like, it's kind of a rehash of A New Hope, and I'm sure that'll come into play there. But yeah.
So you went first last time, so let me go first.
Yeah, go.
About why I don't like number 7, or why it's third worst on my list.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty obvious that it's very similar to A New Hope. And the thing that I hate the most about it is that when I watch this film, there's so much potential for some of these characters. And they just don't deliver on that potential in the film very much. Let's look at Finn. I think Finn is the one that really stands out to me. So Finn is a stormtrooper who has defected, or who has broken free from the mind hold of the First Order. He is a child soldier who has potentially killed a few people. I know that they kind of make a joke about how he's not really a combat trooper. He's more of like a janitor, basically, or something like that.
Yeah, he is.
I know they make a joke like that. But still, to even be in the ranks of the stormtroopers, it's not as if you are some random guy who just signed a conscription form and just showed up. You were taken away from your parents at a young age, and you were trained since a child to become a ruthless soldier that obeys the word of the First Order. And then when he gets out of his brainwashing, when he becomes unindoctrinated, the first thing that at first it seems very exciting because he's so confused, he's lost, he's gasping,
like that big shot in the trailer, the first shot from the first
trailer.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like the very first thing that you see from the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, is Finn taking off his helmet, and he's just in total disarray. And you're just wondering, what is going on? He's on a desert planet. Is it Tatooine? What's happening? Why is this stormtrooper not a white guy? Because all the stormtroopers have been white guys before. Actually, I think the clones were kind of like Samoan, I think, or something like that.
I think they were from. I think the actor was from New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay. He was a Kiwi.
He was a Kiwi. So all the stormtroopers used to be Kiwis.
And so the whole point of Finn is there's this idea that you can take Star Wars in such a more dramatic direction. What does it mean to be an individual? What does it mean to value human life, right? I said right again. What does it mean to value human life?
I can't wait to go back and just, because like before it's be like, man, I say right a lot, but now it's gonna be, I say right a lot, and then I go, damn it.
Well, every time I say it, I have to ingrain it into my head not to say it anymore. Right?
Yes, but continue. I'm sorry I interrupted. Continue.
And then what does Finn do the moment that he's free? He starts looking for a girlfriend, and he starts killing all of his old friends who used to be stormtroopers, the people that he used to work with. And he's just like blowing them away. There's a scene where he's just mowing them down in a spaceship. And he doesn't even blink. Before he was like so distraught that he even had to shoot someone while they were attacking that village in the very beginning of the film. He was so distraught at having to do this. And now he doesn't even care. He just wants to he just burns everybody. And I am so flabbergasted at this missed opportunity. They could have taken this character and really run with it. And instead it's nothing. I feel like there's very little payoff. There is some development for the character, of course, but where it could have gone, the potential that it had, just really left me wanting more, and that just brings the movie down a lot, in my opinion. So why don't you, or do you want to talk about this, or
Actually, no, I do want to talk about that, because like I think, because like when I watched The Force Awakens,
actually, wait. If you're gonna do a counterpoint, maybe we should save that for when you.
Oh yes, I'll save it for later, like when it comes up on my.
When you actually talk about it.
Yeah. Right? All right. So we'll lay this.
Making a case.
So I will go with Revenge of the Sith. So. Yeah. Like I would say, Hayden Christensen still delivers really horrible lines. Like there's the like, you underestimate my power. That's one that always sticks out to me.
I have the high ground, Anakin, and then he's like, ah.
He just leaps through the air. I'm like, you dumbass. But like that's what I'm saying. Like when he looks sinister, like it's there. I see it. You look evil and everything. But then he speaks, and it's awful. Padme, just like one of my favorite horrible lines I've ever heard delivered. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. It's just and it's Natalie Portman from The Professional. She's a prodigy since she's been a kid, and just seeing her do this, I'm just like, ugh. Or like that robot, a robot who doesn't have emotions, is just a soulless husk. That sounds harsh, but that's just the truth. And he walks up and says, I don't know why she's dying. I think she's dying of a broken heart. Or he says like some shit like, she's just lost the will to live. And I'm just like, oh man. And then even a cool moment where they're like, Qui-Gon's talking to me. You know, they don't show Qui-Gon as a Force ghost. They just say Qui-Gon talks from the dead and he's gonna teach us shit. You know, that's not really done much. It's just kind of tacked on at the end. Anakin really quick just starts killing children. There's no build. You don't see enough conflict in his eyes. It's just like, hey, you gotta go stab these kids. I guess, you know, and he just goes and just kills these kids. Yoda gets punked and he just retreats. I didn't really care for that too much. I wish there was a little bit more resistance to that. He just gets beaten. He goes, I must go into hiding. You know, and I'm like, why? Get back up there and keep fighting him. There's not a scratch on you. And the effects still don't fully hold up. I hate the way General Grievous dies. I thought it was like he just gets he gets shot like real easily in the heart, and then his cancerous ass just kind of just dies. And I'm like, oh, that was kind of so like all those things kind of bring it down, and it loses. It just by the end of it, as much as I like the concepts, as I mentioned earlier, the execution just like takes all the piss out of it, takes all the weight and the emotion out of it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I think you make a pretty good case for why 3 should be close to the bottom, but obviously 3 is higher on my list than on yours.
Yes.
Right. So let's go with the next one. So I think I know what your next one is. I think it's going to be Rise of Skywalker Episode 9.
No?
No,
it's that. You're right.
Okay, got it.
You're right.
Yes.
You're 150% correct.
You want to guess mine?
Yes. All right. Yeah. So just to recap, yours was Attack of the Clones.
I'll tell you mine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Attack of the Clones, and then it was The Rise of Skywalker. And then it was Force Awakens. So I think given that, it has to be one of 2 films.
Okay.
I think it had. I'm gonna go with Revenge of the Sith.
Good guess. No, it's Phantom Menace.
Damn it!
Phantom Menace.
That was my other one. That's like because you've talked about that one a lot with me. I'm like, I've never heard him talk about Revenge of the Sith that much. So I was like, maybe he just doesn't care. I did. That was the tactic I went with, and I took a gamble and I lost.
Yeah. So why do you think Rise of Skywalker is at this spot? Why is it kind of in the lower half?
So yeah, I put it a hair above Revenge of the Sith, most because for the entertainment factor, is what put it
Okay.
above that for me. But it goes lower for the same reasons, because I saw this movie twice, and it feels thrown together, it feels rushed, and if you kind of learn like some of the history behind it, like it was very much rushed. They like a director was on it, they fired him, they brought in JJ, and then he had to hit a deadline because Disney and Lucas films were like said like, yeah, you have to get it done by this time, and the restrictions that they put on them in terms of timeline and creativity did not help this movie. And yeah, just like what you said for Sword for the Force Awakens as well, just a lot of wasted potential. I look at a lot of choices in this movie, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, or like, okay, I don't really like that choice, but can you make that choice interesting? And I would say almost every single turn, if not at every turn, everything's very shallow, or like they do something devastating and then they take it back, or they do something cool but they don't let it marinate at all, so you don't get to feel the emotion of it, and that's just a constant through the whole movie. So even though it's entertaining, anything that is of any sort of potential deeper meaning or worth is wasted. I would say conceptually and thematic, like action's great, and we'll talk more about it, but the action's great. It moves at a good pace, whatever. But and set pieces are cool. It looks beautiful, but it's like that richer stuff you come for, that you hope is there, that isn't there, that it fails on.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked about how Rise of Skywalker is basically on the bottom of my list, right? And
Yeah.
the only thing that's keeping it from the bottom is just that it has a lot of action. It is kind of exciting to watch.
It's
like a popcorn flick.
It's not hard to be more exciting than Padme and Anakin, riding potato-shaped animals in a field.
I think they're called bangas.
Wow, I don't even know that shit. Just the fact that you had a guess for the name, an educated guess,
I don't remember.
and still you could have just said potatoes. You could say I think they're called potato monsters, and I would have said yeah, totally. That's probably what they're really called.
Yeah. So okay, now let me talk about Phantom Menace.
The Phantom.
I have Phantom Menace. Why do I think this film deserves to be a little bit higher than all the other films we've talked about so far? What I like about Phantom Menace that redeems it more than the other films that we've discussed is that Phantom Menace for me had a lot of really new ideas that were just completely left field for the the film.
Yes, they were.
Jar Jar was such an interesting character. I wish no ill towards Ahmed Best.
Yeah,
the actor who
same. I'll
Jar
double
Jar.
down on that. Same.
There were a lot of. I mean, I think he had death threats and stuff like that against his
did.
family, and that's just not cool. Like
That's to quote.
he's an actor.
To quote Darren Law, the guy had death threats. That's just not cool, man.
He was playing a character that George Lucas told him, and then also with the child actor that played Anakin.
Yeah, he also did not come out of this.
I think he has schizophrenia, and he's in like a mental health institute now.
I know he got like in trouble. Like I think he went to jail a couple times. But one thing, I guess the positive out of it is someone said when they looked at his mugshots. I remember this is like early days of Facebook and MySpace and all that stuff. But I remember like his mugshot was going around them. And he looked mean. He looked like really hardened by life. And someone said, man, he definitely could have played older Anakin Skywalker if he wanted to. And I saw pictures of him. He definitely could have played a jaded, kid who lost his parents and like everyone's just treating him like shit. He could have knocked it out of the park. I have no questions about that.
Yeah. Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd is the actor's name.
Poor Jake Lloyd.
So, those actors aside, just like the things that happened in the film.
Yes.
While while the film has a lot of really boring parts, I do think that when I'm watching the film, Naboo was very cool. The underwater city in
It
Naboo,
was.
the architecture of the Naboo palaces, that was all. I just remember even playing like Star Wars Battlefront, the video game, and
Mm-hmm.
battling on Naboo, and that whole just the whole set piece. It looks incredible. It's such a beautiful planet, such a well realized planet.
Yeah, the Gungan city and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pod racing. They had a racing sequence
I
in the
know.
Star Wars film.
It was dope.
It's it was so cool. Like I remember as a kid, I like racing. I really do. I like watching F1 and I like Lewis Hamilton winning all the time. So anyway, like
Did you
the
ever,
fact that
did you ever play the game? You ever play the N64 game?
no, I didn't have an N64, but
Oh, you missed out.
yeah.
So-
So, but pod racing was awesome. I loved the fight sequence in Phantom Menace with Duel of the Fates. That song is so cool. And they play it
So
again
good.
in Revenge of the Sith. And there were all these elements of the film that were just new and different. And then they had Jar Jar take down an entire army of droids by accident.
Fuck Jar Jar, man.
They had to take, and I gotta admit, George Lucas took a very bold step there because not, you could never see JJ do that. You would never see
That's-
any other director go that route. Just having the Ewoks take down the
The
Imperial Stormtroopers.
Yeah, the AT-AT.
Right. Yeah, that already in and of itself was kind of like, what is happening? Why is this happening? Whatever, right? But Jar Jar, and of course Qui-Gon, his role and kind of that relationship with Obi-Wan, I did feel like there was a good connection between the two.
Yeah,
And when Obi-Wan was holding Qui-Gon in his arms, that was quite sad. And I remember just feeling like, oh, he's really dead. And I think I remember you talking about how you feel like, oh, it would have been so bold if Finn had died in the movie in Last Jedi. They had never killed off like a main character like that before. And I think like, well, they kind of killed off Qui-Gon, and he was a huge character. He was a really instrumental character.
he was, but he was also very much like he was the Obi-Wan Kenobi of his day. Like that was his role. He was the wise mentor. Finn was not. Finn was a child soldier who turned around, who had PTSD, then all of a sudden turned around and just started brutally murdering his old friends. But
and also going after girls
and going after
chasing-
girls, as we all do in our teenage years, you know.
Yes. So all of these things combined, all of these sequences combined really put Phantom Menace above these other films for me, just because of how creative some of these set pieces were. And maybe I'm biased because I saw it at a time when I was still very impressionable. I was quite young when I saw it. I was like 7 or 8 years old when I first saw episode 1. And I remember just being in the theater and being blown away by the city and the pod racing and the fight sequence, all of it, right? I said right again, darn. So that's why I put it at the spot that it is. That's why I put it above all those other films that we've discussed so far.
When I really look at that, because like everything you said is absolutely true, and I love it for all those reasons. Like to like, just so it's clear, just so at this point, I don't hate any of these movies. The toughest one to watch is Attack of the Clones. That one's the tough.
That's hard.
That's
That's a slog.
Half of that movie is just like, damn. But Phantom Menace is a fun ride and everything. It's just for me, I just can't. I don't know what it is. I've tried. I get used to a lot of things, you know. I don't mind Jar Jar conceptually. It's just he's just, if he was just relegated a little bit more to the back, or if he was just toned down a notch, or something to that effect, it just really bothers me. I don't know why. It just really gets under my skin a bit, and I just can't get over it. And then when the CGI battle takes place between the Gungan army and the droids, it just feels very lifeless because those effects, you know, just don't hold up. They just really, really do not hold up for me. And so the battle itself isn't bad. It's just that it feels more hollow because it just doesn't look good. It looks very ugly to me, and it looks it looks very. I think it's mostly because it looks not so much that it's ugly. I can like things that look ugly, but it's more that it just looks very bland, very plain. The way things are just kind of hovering across the CGI grass. It's just CGI characters fighting CGI characters, and I think that portion of the battle loses a lot of its momentum, which is why I put it lower in my list.
Okay, that's fair. One thing to note is I think Jar Jar was the first fully animated CGI character in film.
I think he was. I think that is absolutely correct.
And I remember how Liam Neeson had told some of his actor friends how he had spent the whole day acting for this film, and all he did was stare at a dot on a green screen, and that was his act. That was the acting that he had to do. And I think it was just a very different time. Nowadays we take it for granted, but I think back then when the film came out, these were pretty innovative, and this whole idea of building out an entire world in CGI had not really been done before, and I give George Lucas a lot of credit there. So but we don't have to talk about it too much.
No, I give him one last comment on that. Is George Lucas? He even said it about like these new Star Wars movies. Is like he's always been someone who's big, is like always trying to advance the technology for movies in the next set of Star Wars movies, whatever that is. And I know he says like the newest trilogy lacks that. It doesn't try to do anything innovative for the film industry in that regard. And I always like these prequels, like however we potentially think about them, they were innovative. They were the many firsts, and whether this stuff came out great or bad, it did change the game a lot. So I'll never take that away from those movies. But yeah, fuck Jar Jar.
Okay. All right, let's go. Next one.
Not the actor.
Right. So what is now we're into the top 5.
Yeah,
so tell me, what is number 5 for me? What do you think is number 5 for me?
Number 5 for you. Okay, so that means we have A New Hope, we have Empire, we have Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi. There's 4 of them. And Sith. All right, so I think in that bunch, I think it's one of two, as always. I think it's either Return of the Jedi or it's Revenge of the Sith. Just because it's easy, I'm going to go with Revenge of the Sith because it's a prequel. But I would say it's probably between those two.
Okay, got it. And the answer is Last Jedi.
Oh, I was going off of new information. I was banking off of innovation.
Last Jedi.
I gave it a shot. I failed.
All right, and then now it's yours. You've already listed Attack. You've already listed Phantom. You've already listed Revenge, and you've already listed Skywalker. So I think the next one on the list would have to be new. What's it called? Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. You were wrong, sir.
What is it?
It is The Last Jedi.
Oh, really? Okay.
It is.
Wait. I should have known.
Yeah, you should have known that one.
I'm so silly. Okay. And then the next one is Force Awakens. I'm just gonna call it now. Next one is Force Awakens. Am I right or wrong?
We'll get there.
Fine. Okay. So I went last, so let me go first now. So actually, we're in agreement.
We are in agreement. So let's just kind of talk about it.
This film is the middle of the pack. So why do we think it's the middle of the pack? So how about this? Do you want to give a good case or a bad case? We play good cop, bad cop. Do you want to be good cop or do you want to be bad cop?
Oh, I'll be good cop.
All right. Good cop goes first. That's how it goes.
All right, good cop. All right, so this movie, when I look at it, it does have some good humor in it. It is beautiful to look at, beautifully shot. It's a very interesting story. It's very different. We've never seen anything like this out of Star Wars. It took the franchise, at least it was trying to take the franchise, in bold, new directions. just in the way it was filmed, the way the story was going, the characters that we were focusing on and caring about. It did also bring in, like, it brought Star Wars into a little bit more of the real world with some of the themes they were kind of playing with. It had a new character. It brought in Rose, who was a great character. It focused more on regular humans. Like it wasn't like the Jedi stuff. Like, obviously that's a big portion of it, but you spent so much time with regular day-to-day people and their plights and what they see, and then also the sort of trying to make the Force equal for all people, like anyone can use the Force. Like, that concept brought in was so revolutionary. And an evolution of Force powers. You still had a good dose of nostalgia with the Yoda Force Ghost. You got some cool fight scenes where they fought all those cool, like, sort of Red Royal Guards. Kylo is a badass. He did some cool ass shit in this movie. The emotional impact of some of those scenes, like you were nobody, but not to me. Like that whole thing. Like, and it's a movie that really makes you have to think and reconsider, like, what you think Star Wars is. It makes you think. There's so many moments that it just makes you question every moment. Like, there's no, like, right or wrong way to think of everything. It's a movie that is designed to make you consider it from all angles, and I think for those reasons, it is good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, and the Luke Force thing is awesome. The Luke Force projection. The end.
Okay. The things that I don't like about the film, the reason why it's not higher, right?
Yeah.
The reason why it's not higher for me is everything that this film does well has been done better by other films. I feel as if the relationship where Kylo is trying to court Rey and get her on his side, that scene is, of course, very much like Empire Strikes Back and Darth Vader trying to court Luke in a very different way, of course, but
yeah.
It's the same kind of feeling, and it's not as impactful. As well as when Snoke dies and he's cut in half and there's a betrayal. That betrayal is similar to other films in Star Wars where, for example, actually, now that I think about it, are there any major betrayals in other Star Wars films? Dooku, for one.
There's Dooku, Vader sort of in Return of the Jedi. If you want to go non-Jedi people, like Lando, big betrayal.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a big one actually. And Lando's betrayal was actually very impactful.
It was.
That one. And then suddenly he was okay. Like by the end of the film, it was fine.
It's okay.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
It's whatever.
So yeah, I just don't think. And then also the training sequences where Rey is sort of getting trained by Luke, not really. And then also she dives into the cave and goes into that mirror realm where she has to see all her reflections. It's all of it is treaded water that has already been treaded in other films in Star Wars, themes that have already been explored, like themes of the darkness that's already inside you, the theme of choosing to overcome your master and take the power for yourself, themes of how do my family, or how do my passions, right, pull me in one direction versus another, right, with Luke wanting to kind of kill Kylo versus not kill him, stuff like that. So all of these themes have already been explored in other films, and I don't think that The Last Jedi does a great job. I think the only thing that's unique about Last Jedi is Finn and Rose and their relationship. Their relationship is pretty unique. I don't think there's anything quite like that in other Star Wars films. And this talk about how war is, justice is on the side of the victor, right? I said right again. Anyway, that's the reason why it's lower on this list for me. Let's just move on because, I don't know, unless you really want to say something about it. Let's just move on. Okay.
So CJ.
Next,
that's it. Oh, Captain Sorry, yeah, DJ. Oh, Captain Phas was in it. Move on.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So I guess yours was 7. Force Awakens. Am I right?
Force Awakens. I battled this a lot, and even now I even has it on the list. I was like, but like after like thinking through our conversation and everything, like coming up to this moment, I was like, okay. But after like saying everything, it's now like a landslide victory of like which of these movies was going forward with which one. It is The Force Awakens. This one is The Force Awakens.
Okay, got it. Can you guess mine? What's number 4 on my list?
Okay, aside from the
so let me list out what's available.
Yeah, you have the original
episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6. Episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you have Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope,
Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith. Those are the remaining choices for me.
Revenge of the Sith. That one's intriguing. Like obviously, I want to say that one. However, fuck, I'll just Revenge of the Sith.
Incorrect.
Is it Return of the Jedi?
It is Return of the Jedi.
I knew it! Should have gone with it. I didn't take the gamble. Damn it!
Revenge of the Sith. You've guessed Revenge of the Sith 3 times in a row.
And I chose not to. That was a David cry.
Alright. So I went last, so I'll go first. Why do I think Return of the Jedi is number 4? Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
It's pretty high on the list, but the reason why it's not higher is because I don't like the battle, the ending battle. The ending battle, not between Luke and
I know,
Emperor,
the space battle,
but on the battle with the Ewoks and the battle in space and all of that. I feel as if for a climactic end, for a climactic note for this saga, for this original trilogy, the things that Han and Chewie and Leia have to do to blow up the new Death Star and to save the Resistance, it just falls flat. Especially when you compare it to the Battle of Hoth and how incredible that. Yeah. Exactly. And so I feel this flaw for me is what brings this film down. Also, the scenes where Jabba the Hutt is the slave master of Leia, and all those scenes on Tatooine, they're okay.
How
not
dare you, sir?
They're okay.
Man,
Boba Fett kind of is a little anticlimactic in his death. That just falls into.
That's completely fair. I'm not gonna fight you on that one.
Boba Fett was such a hyped up character. He was so cool.
Was he hyped? I feel like
I guess he wasn't that hyped.
I feel like we hyped him up over the years, but I feel like he wasn't that hyped.
But he just looked cool.
He did.
The Mandalorian outfit.
He does look cool.
So those are some of the flaws that I have with the film. And then just the Ewoks, they're really not that menacing.
Wickets? You ain't down with Wicket, man?
Nah. The speeders, the Imperial speeders as they were flying through the forests, those were cool.
Yes.
And then you're telling me a bunch of teddy bears beat them? Like, it's just, it's a little weird. It's not exactly my idea of a climactic ending scene. It just feels as if the movie falls a little flat for me. So that's why it's not higher on the list. The film is good. It's a good film.
Yes,
but it just has some flaws that bring it down.
Yes. Do you want me to dispute? Or do you want?
No,
yeah, that's right. I'm gonna I'll talk about it later.
You're gonna talk about the film later. So just talk about episode 7 first.
So The Force Awakens. So originally, there was another movie that was gonna be put below this one, but I was like, okay, am I just blinded by the first time I went and saw it? And after thinking it through, I put it here because, yes, it does rip off the beats from A New Hope. It does. But it is... I can't deny it. Every time I watch it, I have so much fun. I have so much fun with the action. I did like the promise. Like, when you watch this movie, the promise of where these characters could go. You spoke about how Finn, Poe, and Rey... Well, Rey has, character moments and character progression, but Finn and Poe are kind of left by the wayside. But at the time of watching this movie, and if you stay in that same sort of mindset, it does look like there's so much for them to explore and what they're going to do. The sky is the limit with those. And I still feel that when I watch it. And I feel like what they do in it is really sufficient. Finn is very charismatic and very funny. He's a lovable coward. BB-8 is just so cute, so adorable with his little flashlight thumbs up. And, I thought he was a good evolution of R2-D2. Han's death scene is something that really hits me in the feels every time I watch it. And some people may not like it, but just him and Kylo's full exchange, and you see it coming, and there's the build up, the way the lighting's gone, with the red lighting passing over their eyes, and the whole speech that comes up before it. And then when it happens, he stabs Han, he falls off, and shoots him in the fucking hip. Then the rest of the time he's hitting himself in the hip to pump himself up for the lightsaber fight. All that stuff is just so good for me, and I love it so much. And the last battle with Finn, Rey, and him, I loved it. I loved the way it was choreographed. I really felt like I was watching people actually fighting. It felt grittier. It felt more hard-nosed. It just didn't feel like people were just flipping around everywhere. I felt like these people were actually fighting with weapons and putting effort into it. And Kylo's gets fucked up. Rey's breathing very heavy. You see the first remnants of the Dark Force within her. And then it teases you. It separates them, and it does tease you there. Oh, I wanted to see more. And I left the theater wanting more. And when I put everything together, I just really loved it, despite the fact it was a thematic rehash. But I have to say there was so much potential going for it, and it's still so much fun. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah, it is a fun movie. I do think that it's solid. I just don't think that it has enough to offer to put it over any of the other films that we've discussed so far. And so that's why I put it lower on my list. But I agree.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Let's just move on since we have 3 more films to talk about. Right, so we'll keep it going. So top 3 now. We're in the top 3, baby.
We are in the top 3.
Top 3, baby. Okay. So you go ahead. Guess what is my number 3 film?
Fourth time's the charm. Revenge of the Sith.
Damn it! Do you want to take another guess?
It's A New Hope.
No, it is Empire Strikes Back.
You're a liar. You're a liar and a thief.
I have it right here.
You are a liar and a thief.
I have it right here. Empire Strikes Back, episode 5.
Oh, man. I did not see that coming. I honestly did not. Okay. All right. Empire Strikes Back. Okay, what is mine?
I'm going to say it's Return of the Jedi.
It was Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It was.
I think I can guess the next. For you, I feel like I got it already. But we'll keep going. Anyway.
You know nothing, sir.
You went last just now, so now you go first. Talk to me about why is number 6 the third best film in this series?
So now we're just because we're just talking about the original trilogy here now. Because of the 3, it is... not that it doesn't go out on a whimper. I don't want to say that. I think that's an insult to the movie. But the movie definitely shortchanges you a bit in some of the epicness. Because, yes, the Ewoks, yes, they're adorable. I do like the idea of this primitive sort of woodland village species, fighting back and using their technologies and their knowledge of the Force to fight off the technologically enhanced stormtroopers. I like that concept, but... it's just that they're tiny fucking bears. But the concept there is really cool. And the whole thing on the moon of Endor, I do like that there is this sort of different mission. Like it's not just a space battle. It is like they have to infiltrate a base. They have to use sort of guerrilla warfare war tactics. Han is really funny. You know, like when he goes like when he like runs off, he goes like, "Hey, it's me." You know, that those small Harrison Ford lines. You know, and then Leia, the callbacks in there are really nice when he says like "I love you" and she says "I know" and she saves him by shooting someone. I think the stop animation is so good. In the forest scene with all the AT-ATs, you know, shooting them down. There is some tragedy. Like when like the Ewoks die and like that one they get shot at, one stands up and like shakes its friend.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know,
I kind of didn't like that. That was one of the things that
you
I was
heartless
like,
bastard.
this
You
is
have
a little
no
much.
feelings. You have no soul, sir. And I'm not going any further than that comment at all. We're going to end it there. And obviously the lightsaber fight is fantastic, the whole Emperor thing. But I do have to admit that I think the big reason it doesn't hold for me is like, yes, the woodland creatures like the Ewoks aren't like the most threatening looking things. They're just cute little teddy bears. And yes, the space battle itself isn't as exciting as like the trench run from the first one. And it is, you know, like literally like when they take out the base finally, they just fly in, shoot it, and run away. That's it. And it kind of ends. There's some good, but it still has good music. It has cool moments like Lando, yeah, and like that big lipped guy.
Yeah. I don't know his name either.
No, I don't know his name either. That's still was the guy. And sir, you trash talked the Jabba the Hutt, the Jabba flying boat, and the scenes on Tatooine. Those scenes are awesome. I love those. You get introduced to Luke in his darker form, where he just walks up and just chokes people. You know, that's when
that was interesting.
So you get that part. You get like I like the slow buildup of all that, like all the way until Luke when he finally shows up. Jabba's kind of scary. He looks so much bigger, and like that puppetry. 3 people are inside that thing, and they make it look so lifelike. It works so well. Leia's hot. That's just a fact. And that bikini. And also you omitted a huge character in the first one, and that is my boy Salacious Crumb. Salacious Crumb is the backbone of this franchise. So I love listening to him laugh. He's like this pet weird thing. He gets shocked and he jumps up, you know, and he's watching Jabba's tail wriggle. I love him. I love the boy.
He's just a Muppet.
Quiet you. This is my time.
He's just a Muppet. That's all he is.
I just like the way he laughs. I like the way he laughs. But last thing also, just like Leia in disguise, like the people in disguise, incognito, saving Han. The Carbonite scene's cool. Where he's blind. He reunites with Chewie. Princess Leia's outfit's really fucking cool. The way she talks.
Yes. Yeah. Just agreeing.
Just agreeing. But for all those reasons, I think I just think, and it adds so much to the world with the thermal detonators and all that shit. But yeah, I really loved it. But as I said, those other 2 things I mentioned earlier just put it a few notches below the other 2 movies that are left for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, the film for me was 3 notches, I guess. Yours was 2 notches.
Well,
so
things happen. You did not.
All right,
dig
so let me
Salacious Crumb like I did.
Let me try and justify my choice here, because I feel like my choice is quite controversial.
Oh, your choice is very controversial. I don't hold it against you. These are all great movies we're talking, but I can understand this. Go for it.
So, why did I put Empire Strikes Back below the other 2 films? It's not any flaw that this film has. It's just that the other 2 films have something that does it better for me. I actually already knew the plot twist. I think I don't remember how I knew. And I think I also, for Halloween, I had a helmet that was Darth Vader, and one of the buttons says, "Luke, I am your father." And that's kind of a spoiler. They should put like a spoiler warning on those helmets. All right, so that way the 8-year-old me doesn't find out the spoiler twist to the film from a Halloween costume. But anyway, so everything about Empire is really well done. I don't think there are any major flaws. Hoth is a big highlight. The battle on Cloud City is a big highlight. And meeting Yoda. I just feel like when I think about the other two films that we're going to talk about in the top two, those films do something different for me that just takes it over the top. And so I like Luke's choices in terms of how he has to come to grips with his family heritage, and he comes to the truth of his father and what Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader really, who they are, and how they're the same person. I think that is a very interesting. And then also the choice that Luke makes to leave Dagobah, because he has to make a choice to say, I'm not going to continue my training. He says, I'll come back later to finish my training. I have to save my friends. And Obi-Wan and Yoda are both discouraging him. They're saying, no, there's no way you can survive. You're going to get your butt kicked. And he does. And I think that's so cool. He actually gets his butt kicked. Because I think all of us, when we're watching that film, are thinking, yeah, Luke is ready now. He's gonna power up somehow, and he's gonna beat Darth Vader, and this is gonna be such a cool battle. But it turns out to just be a one-sided beatdown.
It is a landslide victory.
Yeah. So the Empire really does strike back, because the somber nature of this film is kind of what's keeping me from putting it above the other two, because the other two have these interesting notes that I want to talk about more. But I don't really have anything bad to say about the film, but I just want to say the other two films do something better for me. That's all.
I feel that, man. All right, man. Down to two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I think you'll get mine. So let's just go with you guessing first, then.
Sure. Your next film is A New Hope.
That is correct.
Yeah. And then by default, that makes the top one Empire Strikes Back.
Wrong. It's Rogue One.
Right. All right. So what's number 2 for me?
You know what? Let's just stay consistent. It's Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, it is.
I would have cried if it was number 1. Not because I hold the movie like lower on my list, just because like I would have been wrong like 5 times in a row. This is my last chance.
It is.
All right.
Revenge of the Sith. So I went last, so I'll go first.
So
let me talk about Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
So why do I like this film better than Empire Strikes Back?
There's a lot to like in this film.
The thing that I like the most...
Not Padme.
Well, I like Padme.
Her dialogue. I say her dialogue, I should say.
Her dialogue is not strong. I don't think... I will not make any excuses for this film. The dialogue is not strong. I don't think that the dialogue has the same level of refinement as some of the other films.
Yes.
But what it does have is it has a lot of heart. And it really just hits the point. These are lines that are just, this is what I am thinking. This is exactly what is happening to me right now. And if people had zero filter and were not able to add nuance to what they're saying, then this is the film. This is what people would talk like if no one had any nuance or any form of analogy, if no one could use analogy or metaphor or simile in their conversation, right? So
you said
the
right.
thing that I like the most, damn it. the thing that is so engaging about this film for me is that it is just centered around Anakin. This film from start to finish is Anakin's film. And it is all about how does Anakin turn from this young Jedi warrior into the most badass Darth Vader guy ever. The most iconic Star Wars character. He is the most iconic Star Wars character.
This is true.
If you showed a picture of Luke to someone, they wouldn't. There's a 50-50 chance they might know who that is. But if you showed a picture of Darth Vader, if they have the slightest inclination of what Star Wars is, they will know what Darth Vader looks like, right? He is the iconic character, and he is what is imprinted in my brain of Star Wars. Star Wars will always be linked with Darth Vader and that scene where he's just breathing and walking with his troops. So how does this young man turn into this hideous creature, right? Into this machine of a monster. I think I said right again. So I said it somewhere in there. I remember hearing myself. And what you'll see when you're watching this film is there's a scene where nothing is being said. And it's the scene where Mace Windu is going to confront Palpatine. And you see Anakin sitting in his room, looking out into the sunset of Coruscant. And then you see Padme sitting in her room.
Oh, yes, it's a good scene.
And there's the sunset, and they're looking at the same sunset. And you see Anakin thinking about, and nothing is being said. There's no dialogue, and there's no like thoughts or narration. It's just music and their faces. And it's so well done in showing that Anakin is processing everything that he's faced and learned and thought about over the last 20 years of his life, or however long, right? I said right again. Over however many years of his life. And he is he is deciding, do I need to sell my soul to the dark side in order to save the person that I love? And will this be worth it? And that is the reason why when he goes and saves the Chancellor, he's so quick to just go and kill the younglings. Because that decision was already made a few scenes ago. He doesn't care what will happen anymore. He'll do whatever it takes. He'll kill younglings. He doesn't even bat an eye. He just walks up and slaughters them, right? I said right. He just walks up and slaughters them. And there's a scene even before that where Obi-Wan is talking to Anakin. Anakin says, "This is ridiculous. It's unfair. How dare they appoint me to the council but not grant me the seat of master?" Or something like that. Something to that effect. And then they're walking away. And Obi-Wan turns to Anakin and just lays out to him in the most heartfelt way, saying, "You are my apprentice. You are going to be you're already a better Jedi than I can ever hope to be. You're my best friend." He's just telling him all these incredible things. And you just see Hayden Christensen's face like light up because he is just so ecstatic to hear words of affirmation that he is a good Jedi. Because that's all he ever wanted. He wanted to become powerful enough to save his family. He wanted to be a good Jedi. He wanted to be like tapped on the head and say like, "Good Anakin, good Annie, here you are." Instead, the Jedi Council is a bunch of old people who have never had sex in their life. And so they don't know how to love. They don't know how to treat this young boy with care and affection. They just tell him to go and forget your troubles, forget your fear, forget attachment. That's what they tell him to do. But Anakin can't do that because he's emotional. And you just learn so much about Anakin in this film. I don't think you know as much. I don't think you ever get to be as connected with any other character in Star Wars as you are with Anakin in this film. This whole film, you're just feeling everything from his perspective. From the very start, when they're flying in with Obi-Wan and they're taking out the droids and they're flying in to save Chancellor Palpatine, to the very end where he has the mask put on his face and he's screaming in the cheesy "no," the whole thing. It's just Anakin's story, and it is a wonderful ride to sit along and watch this. And there's a lot of really bad dialogue, but if you get over that, it is such a sad tale of a man who gave up everything in his life to save the person that he loved because he couldn't save his mother. I think that's another aspect. And the people that he turned to for help, like Yoda and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu, they all couldn't provide for him in the way that Chancellor Palpatine promised. And so it's a great character study. It's a character movie. It's not a space saga. It's a character study. And that's why this film is so exciting and so interesting to me. And that's why I have it above Empire.
When I listen to everything you say, I do I feel all those same sorts of things when I look at it, because I thought deeply about, especially the first 6 movies. I thought very deeply about the themes of that one, and when I do think of Anakin specifically and his whole journey from start to finish, it moves me emotionally, almost to tears, because it is a very sad, tragic thing. So I will never dispute any of that. But I think the only reason is that I hold it lower just because is most for execution purposes. But I have to say everything you said was beautiful, and I wouldn't fight you on any of that.
No, well, I mean, I like that movie a lot, and
It is a good. It's like as I said, I really love all these movies. Just Attack of the Clones is the hardest one to love.
well, I mean, it's just such a big difference because I feel my ranking of Revenge of the Sith, I think of it as top 3 in the franchise. And if I'm looking at the list right now, I have it right in front of me. Revenge of the Sith is in the bottom 3 for you, right? I said right again. Damn it.
Yeah.
So it's just always so interesting to hear perspectives that are so disparate.
I think because like we already know where we're going after this for our top ones, but when I look at the list that I've put forth, and after listening us to talk about some of these movies, I would say that through these, I think because as for as much as I care about theme and story and everything, I sometimes get too caught up in movies that have a lot of potential, and I see the potential there, and I think sometimes like my brain just takes that potential and pushes certain movies into a little bit higher status. Like I like them because of things that they almost did or could have done, and I sometimes have to take a step back and reflect upon that. Well, does that mean the movie's really that good at all? I think through this, I would actually put Revenge and Phantom Menace higher. Through the conversation, I've been thinking about that a lot, and as I've continued to listen to you, I would move Rise of Skywalker down, given the reasons you've said, but I would put Revenge higher, so into like the middle 3. And it is a beautiful movie thematically, but I guess I fully can't get over all of the execution of it. But it is good. It is worthy of everything, all the praises you just gave it.
I do think that if I was watching this the first time, I remember the first time I watched Revenge of the Sith, I didn't like it that much. I didn't put it that high. I would have put it probably in the bottom 3 too. But also back then there were only 6 movies, so
yes,
bottom 3. But I've seen it maybe 4 or 5 times since then. It's probably, other than New Hope, it's the Star Wars film that I've rewatched the most. And I always feel like every time that I watch this film, that I'm able to learn something a little different or pick up something a little different about Anakin and about his story. And I don't get that as much from the other films. And so that's one characteristic of this film that is unique, is that there is more to delve into about this character, because characters are complex, and I don't think George Lucas has done a great job of writing complex characters, but I think Anakin is one of them.
No, I definitely, when I look at the trilogy, I like Anakin's definitely the one that's his baby. You can definitely tell a lot of love into that. And I think by the virtue of how that movie is shot and the things you learn and the story that's told in that third movie, you can definitely tell, like, I've been waiting to tell this. I've been waiting to do this. But I definitely do want to go back and revisit this movie, because everything you said, I am reminded of that, and all that stuff is true. But also everything I said was also true. So I would like...
No, but I think that...
yeah.
Yeah, everything that you said is true. But I think that kind of adds to the fun of this film in a weird way. Because when they say it, you're like, oh, yeah, they did say that. I didn't just imagine that. It really happened.
No, there's fun to be had, and there's a lot of beauty in all these movies, but in Revenge of the Sith specifically, there's a lot of good stuff.
So you have New Hope and you have Empire. Just walk me through a bit about those films.
Yeah, so A New Hope. A New Hope, out of all the movies, A New Hope moves. I think Force Awakens a little bit, but New Hope's just better. New Hope just moves. Like it's just like the beginning's it's a bit slow to start, but like I think it's like a nice slow burn, a nice build up to it. But it's just moving. It's just moving. It's giving the information you need to know. It's world building on a very fast pace that doesn't feel rushed. So you're understanding everything that's coming at you. It feels wonderful. It feels exciting. It feels fun. The adventure's there. The intrigue's there. The trench run is one of the best finales to any movie ever, and I would argue anybody about that. It is the music, dun 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 dun. You know, like it's just so good, and then it's just so good, and then Han coming in to save the day. Darth Vader killing off all of Luke's friends. The first time introduced the TIE fighters, and then you see Vader's specific one, and then every time he's like shooting people down, like the red light flashes in his eyes and stuff. And it's a very good starting point for like a fantasy adventure. You know, like you have like this small town boy going off into a bigger world, and then I would say the only thing I think that keeps it, aside from just personal preference, I think one thing that always hinders the movie for me is the actual action of the Obi-Wan Darth Vader lightsaber fight. It's not the greatest. I do like the messaging in it. I like their exchange in dialogue, their quips and everything, but it definitely looks like an old man who's just running around aimlessly. He spins for no reason. It's just not up to par with every other action fight of any kind in the rest of the series. It is definitely the weakest. But yeah, it's just such a good movie. It's fun. You can pop it in. If it's the only Star Wars you ever watch, you can watch it and it feels like a complete experience. And I think it's just fantastic.
So why is Empire higher? What does Empire do that's better?
I like to feel sad.
You take great pleasure in displeasure.
I a little bit of masochist. It's like you struck many things on it already, but just to reiterate, I love like the I am your father thing. I think it's a great twist. Yeah, one of the greatest twists of all time. I don't know if I knew that intrinsically beforehand. I can't remember if it's surprising, but it still is just such a great moment. The fight, even though the fight isn't like the most like energized in terms of action fight, like the subtext within it, and just like Luke getting, walking in there with confidence and getting his shit rocked is so cool for so many different reasons. Getting his hand sliced off, like it's a rough moment for him. I don't know, but when I just look at this movie, I feel I'm a very emotional person, and there's so much emotion in this movie, so much tragedy, and for some reason I just really connect with that. I feel for these characters. In the first one, we're having fun. When I'm in this movie, I feel like I'm there and I'm watching these characters suffer, and I just feel for them. And I think that's what puts it over the edge for me, is that experience. And I think that's the real first time you would get a full demonstration of what Darth Vader is capable of. And I love the big bads. I just love them so much. I love the main big bads, I should say. Emperor's the true big bad, but just his whole look, his demeanor, his lines, like impressive, like those sorts of things. Hearing his respirator, and you get so much Vader in that one, and you get him fighting too, and it's so good. I don't know, I just love it. Love it.
Yeah, I do also really like it. I think the only reason that I have New Hope higher than all the other films is because it's just so
hopeful.
Nah, I didn't want to use that word.
Right.
I would say that it's the most it's the most epic. It feels more like a fairy tale than any of the other films. It feels exactly like the intro starts it as. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far
Yeah,
away.
kind of like a bedtime story.
It feels like you're a child and your father or your uncle, whoever was telling you stories when you were a kid is telling you about this tale and is weaving this epic story of this young moisture farmer on Tatooine and his hope of his dream of escaping this boring life. It's like Lord of the Rings. It's the reason why Lord of the Rings is so endearing, right? Frodo Baggins and the life in the Shire, Luke Skywalker and the life in Tatooine. It's just this, and it becomes this epic grand tale. It just opens up more and more. When you think it's already kind of crazy, it keeps going. They blow up a planet. Okay. But then that's no moon. Okay. And then the trench scene and the way that they do the force in that film, it's not overdone at all. It's very subtle. He just closes his reticle. He closes his aimer, his target sight, and he just goes with it. And everyone's like, "What are you doing? You're crazy!" And he just trusts in himself. Trusts in the force.
In their defense, you have this whole resistance, this whole the whole Rebel Alliance, who've been working at this for a while, and they get this new hotshot pilot. They're like, yeah, throw him out there, see what he can do. And it comes to a moment where he's now your last hope. And they don't know who this kid is, really. And then he shuts off his targeting computer. How pissed would you be? How pissed would you be?
He delivers.
He does deliver, but I'm saying, their fear is very much justified. Oh, shit! Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, there's even a princess in this film.
It is.
How much more fairy tale can you get?
She even has a British accent for a scene.
Yeah, it's weird. So, New Hope, it really is the quintessential Star Wars movie. If I had to just pick a Star Wars movie to watch, it's always going to be New Hope. If I can only watch one, it's going to be New Hope every time because it's just got all the things that I love about Star Wars.
No, that's fair. And as someone who I love adventure stories. Like I said, Legend of Zelda is my favorite thing. It has a lot of those similar vibes to it. But at the end of the day, we're splitting hairs because the New Hope's so good. It's so good. Empire Strikes Back just has is just a notch above for me. But both solid films, man. Both great films.
So let's just run through the list one more time. Let me tell you about my list from worst to best.
Okay.
So from the very bottom, we have Attack of the Clones. We have The Rise of Skywalker. We have Force Awakens. I always want to say New Hope when I read that one.
Because it's almost the same movie.
Yeah. We have Phantom Menace, Last Jedi. Episode 6 is Return of the Sith. Return of the Jedi, sorry. Mm-hmm. Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back. Revenge of the Sith. New Hope.
All right. And for me, my original list was at number 9, Attack of the Clones. I love you, but man. Anyways, number 8 is The Phantom Menace. Number 7 is Revenge of the Sith. Number 9 is The Rise of Skywalker. 5 is The Last Jedi. Return of the Jedi at number 4. Force Awakens at number 3. A New Hope at number 2. And Empire at number 1. However, I will say, after talking this conversation, Rise of Skywalker, I think, has gone down to number 8. And who knows? Maybe Revenge of the Sith, after I rewatch it, may jump up there a little bit. We'll see, man.
I just feel like every time I watch it, it keeps going higher and higher for me. And it's I feel like it's stabilized at number 2.
Well, that's the beauty of discussion and rewatching, revisiting. You can change your opinions over time. It's an amazing thing that I don't think everyone.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird, man. It's like I don't know. I know what's normal is just to kind of state the opinion that you have. When you're like 13 years old or whatever the fuck it is. Like, and you say it once and then like, oh, I guess I'm stuck with this forever.
I'm committed.
I'm committed. Gotta stick to my guns till I die.
I have to love Attack of the Clones, I guess, for the rest of my life because I saw it once and I said it was the best. That's it.
Nah, man. I can't believe I forgot to mention. Oh, you already mentioned earlier, so it doesn't matter. But the Battle of Hoth and Empire, forgot to mention that.
Man, great battle. That scene is so awesome.
It's good. Would you say it's the best battle in terms of like spaceships and like the soldier resistance versus rebels versus empire resistance versus first order? Out of all those sort of battles, would you say it's the best one?
I think so. I think it's the most gripping. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely the one that because what happens in that battle is there's a lot of back and forth. It's never clear who's going to win. There are times when when the walkers first show up, it feels like the empire is for sure going to blow up and destroy the rebels. And then the rebels figure out a few ways to kind of fight back, and they start to take down a few of the walkers. And then the walkers, they're just like, oh, okay, you took down a few of ours, let's go maximum power on our lasers. And then they blow up those shield generators. And so there's like this back and forth that's happening.
Yeah, it feels like a real war.
Yeah, it feels like there's really two sides that are trying to beat each other. Right, one is trying to get the upper hand, and then they say, no, here's another step, and here's another step. And that doesn't happen a lot with Star Wars battles. A lot of the Star Wars battles feel very one-sided for most of it. It's always, here come the clones, and they show up, and then everyone's dead. Or here come the droids, and they show up, and everyone's dead.
Watch out, here comes Jar Jar, and then by accident, everybody's dead.
Yeah, by accident, everyone's dead. So that's why I like Hoth the best. It's probably the best macro fight. The micro fight, what do you think is better? Do you think Luke versus Darth Vader? Or do you think Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi? Or what do you think is the best micro fight?
In terms of just human versus human, hands down go to Captain Phasma versus Finn in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, got it.
After
this concludes.
No, wait.
No. Thank you for calling.
Wait a minute. That's actually a tough question. I think the best lightsaber fight goes to. I think it goes to Return of the Jedi, Luke versus Vader 2. I think that's the best one.
Luke versus Vader 2?
Yeah.
What was Luke versus Vader 1? Oh, Return of the Jedi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought Return of the Jedi. I think that one goes the best. In terms of, I mean, it's pretty close in terms of emotional weight, but that's where all the emotions coming out. It's where Vader. Because one thing that's cool about Vader is this is kind of extra canon stuff, but Vader's been known to he's basically, he has a power, so to speak, a Sith power. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically he's a really good shit talker. He's really good at shit talking people in a way that kind of makes them feel less confident or baits them very much into making dumb decisions. And I think it's really cool that he does that there with Luke, and it backfires.
So I don't have anything else to talk about, honestly. I think we've covered everything.
No, I think we've gushed over Star Wars, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. You said right a bunch of times.
Sure, I did.
You sure did. No, but I think we nailed it, man. I think this is a good sort of culmination to the Star Wars talk we've been having the past few episodes. So if you want, we can just kind of sign off.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being on the call with me, Levi. I appreciate it. We've talked about Star Wars for the last month and a half, I guess, or so. I think it's been about a month.
Yeah, right? It has been a month, yeah.
A month of talking about Star Wars. To be honest, I don't want to talk about Star Wars anymore for a while. I'm a little bit burned out. I was right, you were wrong. That's my sign off.
You
Bye.
can't say right. You can't say right anymore.
I was correct. You were incorrect. Bye.
My name's Levi. I love Star Wars, as is Darren. Stay good to yourselves. Thanks for listening. Bye.